Today, I'm delighted to say that I'm in conversation with Adam Searle, author of Goodbye Mother Bear, a really heartwarming story about grief for young children. So tell us then about you and your life and what led up to you writing the book.
Okay, well, I am a dyslexic children's author from Moseley in Surrey. I've always been creative. I've always enjoyed telling stories, and what got me into literally writing about Goodbye Mother Bear was I was doing a bit of research on Google, and I came across a number of picture books for children about grief, and they were kind of like one-off stories. And I at the time I was going to do a story about characters, about little animal friends, and I was going to do one on grief, but I did not want to leave it as a single story. I wanted children and parents to follow a story of one bear, and unfortunately, book number 1 is about grief, and I have got more adventures for him that will see him and his friends, because they each have got a story to tell.
Right, how lovely. The pandemic means that we are still living through very strange and uncertain times, aren't we? And I know that your books, they help children make sense of their feelings, really. So why is it important that children and parents talk about grief and about dying?
Having a children's picture book about death and dying is a very taboo subject. I understood that there could be a risk during creating of Goodbye Mother Bear that many would not take to a book that focuses on such a tough topic. But I also knew that it was something we should not shield children away from. I feel that it is important that parents do talk to their children about such a subject, and during these times we all must talk about it. I created and wrote Goodbye Mother Bear back in 2018 to introduce children to someone who they could relate to, but like everyone else, I was not prepared for COVID and all the pandemic and all what happened and all that, and a lot of adults were affected mentally and physically by the harshness of COVID.
Yes, they were.
So a lot of children, it is something you should not shield them away from. Although I had to put Goodbye Mother Bear back by a year, I received feedback from one lady in America who sat down with her children to talk about my book, as her husband had been very sick with COVID, and they were unsure if he would make it. I'm glad that my book helped them through such an awful time in their lives, and I am pleased that he did recover. Since my book, there have been a huge surge in picture books about grief and death, and I believe that this is because more families need to talk more about it, especially in these times.
You're right, that's true. In your lovely book, friends are important, aren't they? How can friends help children through grief?
Oh yeah, friends are very important at all times, but especially during times of death and grief. A lot of children will relate to their friends more than they would with adults. And I think that is why one of the most important key points is friendship.
Yes, it does. It carries us no matter how old we are, actually, doesn't it? When we grieve. I know when I lost my mum and I lost my dad within the same year of each other, you know, my family were there for me, but also my friends, just sort of going alongside me as I was going through the process. And it often takes people 18 months to 2 years to process the death of somebody. Of course, it's not exact science, but of course it does take time. And people sort of say, oh, you should be over it now or something. But a bit of music comes on, or it's Christmas time or a birthday, and it will bring up those very strong emotions, won't it, for everybody, no matter how old they are. And that's why I think your book is important. And in your book, you talk about rituals, which I thought was really interesting as well, because I've written about grief and dying and rituals and the importance of it. And for children, often it's when a pet dies actually is their first experience of loss and death and grief. But, it's important for rituals. So why did you include a ritual and rituals in your story?
Well, when I was doing research for Goodbye Mother Bear, because I had to do a lot of research into it, and there was a load of facts from all different areas, but I could only select a few certain. So
sure,
one of the most important things I discovered was that children were sent back to school quite early on, and that was so they could get under, away from people's feet, but because they could get back into a kind of like a proper
routine. Yeah.
But there was a lot of information I could have put it into Goodbye Mother Bear, but a lot of it I had to take out because I only had a limit. But
yeah.
I wanted to kind of like add a bit about that day bear getting back into my routine and stuff, his home life and stuff, and going back to school, meeting up with his friends, their reactions and stuff. So I felt it quite important.
Yeah, it was important, and I was very touched by that, because I also remember when I was a deputy head and a little boy turned up on the Monday morning because his father had passed in the night from a brain tumour, and mum didn't know what to do, so she just went into routine, like send him to school. But he was very grief stricken and very distressed. But there is that part, I see what you mean about the idea of routine. People sort of don't quite know what to do. Some people don't know what to say, and some people say nothing at all. So it's important to recognize it, even if you feel slightly unsure of what to say, but acknowledging the loss of someone is very important. And friends, like you say in the story, support the little bear through those difficult times. And he has anger and he's a bit confused, and these are all the strong emotions. So that's why I like the book, because it gives that opportunity through reading the story to maybe have those conversations with the kids, not so intensely and when you're ready for it. But I think it is an opportunity to open up those conversations that are a bit tricky sometimes for parents. They don't know what to do. So what age is the book actually aimed at?
Goodbye Mother Bear is a children's picture book aimed at kind of like children between the ages of 6 to 10 and primary school age. I have had feedback from parents who have read the book to slightly younger children, to slightly older children. So I suppose it can be for literally children of any age, or even adults, if it will help them.
Yes, that's the thing, isn't it? It's written for the younger age range, but like anything, it's like my Candy Kid journal. If you do it alongside a child, a younger child can read it and share the story, or just talk about it, or when something sad happens, they can remember that they have read it and find it and talk about it again at that time, perhaps. I know that Goodbye Mother Bear has been nominated for the Right Blend Book Awards. What was that about? Tell us a bit more about that.
Yeah, I mean, that was amazing. I mean, Right Blend is an independent bookshop that's based in Liverpool.
Yeah.
It's run by a guy called Bob.
Yeah.
He set up a lot of awards because Blue Peter and I think it was Coaster Coffee, that they did away with their book awards. So he decided to set up his own ones up.
Yeah.
People nominated books, and they can be any books from any corners of the publishing in the publishing life, mainstream publishing, self-publishing, or small publishing.
Yeah.
My book got got nominated,
That's
and
lovely.
yes, at the time I was going through a hard time because our dog Gambit was very ill at the time.
Yes, I remember. Yeah.
Yeah, so to get that was it
A
was a
lift.
blessing,
Yeah, yeah.
and then to be to go from nominated to shortlisted was really
Oh,
was really fantastic, and I'm really grateful to Bob, his team, my readers, and everyone who voted for my book, because it was
oh.
fantastic and it was a dream come true.
Oh, that's so lovely. It gave you a real lift at a difficult time, which we all need to, don't we, as well? So I know that you write and you are dyslexic yourself. How's that affected you growing up through school? I mean, that's a real achievement to write some books, isn't it, as well, when you have dyslexia. Tell us about that.
Yes, I mean, I being honest, I struggled through school. I
Yeah.
was diagnosed with dyslexia from the age of 5.
Right.
I struggled with my reading, with my spelling, with
Yeah.
concentrating.
Yeah.
It was bit of a battle.
Yeah.
I could I I could never read or write books. I mean, my mum and my sister were into books. I had loads of books. My dad was not much of a reader, but I could not. I didn't. I felt I did not have a choice really. I had a few books, but I could never read them. And what I used to do, I used to flick through the pages and create my own stories from the illustrations.
Yes.
My love of monsters came because of a book called Not Now Bernard by David McKean.
I know that.
You know,
Wonderful
yes.
book. And that inspired you, did it?
That was, yes. I loved monsters, and when Goosebumps came out in very early 90s, I happened to see them when I was out at a local shop, and I said to my mum, I said, oh, I wouldn't mind getting those books. At the time, there was only 7 books, so there wasn't a lot of them, but they were kind of like had monsters and all that, something that appealed to me. So what my mum and I did, we took in turns reading a chapter.
Yes.
As the month's gone on, Mr. Stein published a book every month in the UK, so we were never short on books. And steadily, as I started reading more, my reading improved, and I decided I wanted to become an author. I wanted to tell my own monster books.
Oh, that's so wonderful. So he inspired you, and then you'll go on, hopefully, to inspire other children and other people that are listening.
Yes,
Yeah,
I do hope so.
that's the ripple in a pond that's so lovely. So tell us more about then Wide Awake Books, because you have got other books as well, haven't you?
I have, yes. I mean, I set up a Wide Awake Books because I wanted to introduce books that were a good value of money, that were not very highly expensive,
Yeah.
or what families can enjoy reading together time and time again.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. And I know that you have written The Big and the Little Monster Visit the Seaside, haven't you? Because you like monsters. So you've written books about that too, have you?
I have, yes. That was my second book to feature my monsters. My first one, The Big and the Little Monster, that was my very first book I actually wrote when I was 12 years old. And
Oh, wow.
yeah, not a lot changed from then to how it came out. And I was very nervous when I did my first event. Being a new author, I applied to sell my books at my old school, the
Yeah.
Orchard, my old primary school. I was very nervous there, but I had people coming over buying the books and actually enjoying it. So
Oh,
it encouraged me to again do another monster one, and this time when I visit the seaside, and it was so much fun to do.
how lovely. It's such a lovely story, listening to how you come, through adversity and difficult times as well. So I know that you visit libraries and you go into schools and you do fairs. I've seen, that you do it locally. Tell us a bit more about, if people would like to invite you to come and talk to their kids, where could they find you and what sort of things do you do?
Yes, I mean, I do enjoy visiting fairs and charity events and markets. I am always happy to meet people. It was only on Saturday I did one church fair. I met 3 children who had dyslexia, and 2 of them actually asked me for advice and all that. And I
Yeah.
I hope I gave them the best advice I could.
Yeah, it's inspiring, isn't it, really, that you can talk about it and that you have written such lovely books around it. So tell us, what's next for you? Have you got any plans for the new year?
Yes, I have. I have just recently published my a new book that's called Sinister Shorts. It's a collection of short stories, scary ones. So if anyone likes the Goosebump books, Sinister Shorts is for them. I also got book number 2 of Faraday Bear and Friends. He's coming back.
Yes.
Yeah, and I've got a few more projects I am currently working on.
Oh, that's lovely. I know if you go onto your website, you can get some stories on there, I noticed when I was exploring. What's your website called?
Yeah, my website is adamsearle-author.com. There should be links all over because I'm quite active on social media.
Yes.
They will find 3 stories.
Yeah.
I added them up because I had a number of ideas for books, but some of them were very short and could not go into book form. So
Yeah.
I decided to just add them onto my website as kind of like freebies for either children or adult parents to
read. Yeah, to read together. It's always lovely to spend a few minutes bonding over a story. You know, even when you've got 5 minutes, it's nice to have that. So they can go and explore those. So what are your social media platforms? Tell us, and we'll put them into what we you know, when we've done this video and edited it and everything, so people will see where they can get it. They can see the review that I've written for the book. But tell us so people can find you.
Okay, yeah. I am very active on social media. I am on Instagram. I am on Facebook. I am on Twitter. I think those 3 are kind of like the main ones.
So tell us your names on Twitter, because it's not directly your name, is it? Tell us what it is.
No, I couldn't have my direct name. I was hoping so, but yeah, it is at author Searle. They should come up.
Yeah, that works.
On Instagram, it is it should be Adam Searle author.
Lovely. And people then can tell us once more your website so they can buy your book. And is it on Amazon and in bookshops and things?
It is, yep. It is sold all over the place. It can be in the UK, most good bookshops.
Yeah.
Stones, Foils, and obviously Amazon.
Lovely.
In America, Barnes and Nobles, and in Australia, I sell it through a website called Story Antics.
Wow, you are certainly international.
Oh, I try to be.
That's wonderful. Well, thank you so much for talking to us today about your lovely book. I highly recommend it. It's a lovely, gentle, sensitive story to read to young children around grief, dying and loss. So thanks, Adam.
No, thank you very much for having me.